Sorry I'm late.
Welcome to a commentary on one of television's most layered, complex, and memorable female characters, Regina Mills, also known as the evil queen from Once Upon a Time. If you've watched the show, you already know the magnetic power of Lana Parrilla's performance. She didn't just play the role, she transformed it. Regina was more than a villain. She was a grieving daughter, a broken lover, a protective mother, and eventually a hero who had to fight herself more than anyone else. This isn't just a character analysis, it's a full journey through her psychology, relationships, redemption arc, and why this portrayal resonates so deeply with fans. We'll talk about her complicated past, her rise and fall, and the brilliance behind Lana's Emmy-worthy performance. So why was Lana the perfect casting? Well, the role of the queen required more than just a strong actress. It needed someone who could wear a crown and still feel vulnerable underneath it. Someone who could scream "off with your head" one episode and cry over her son the next. Lana was the perfect fit. From her very first scene at Snow and Charming's wedding, she commands the screen. She savors every word, punctuates each threat with the elegance of a Shakespearean villain, but grounds it with emotional truth. What makes Lana so perfect isn't just her intensity, it's her range. She makes silence speak volumes. She makes lines that could be cheesy feel devastating, and she always performs with intent. You can tell she understands Regina down to her soul. The showrunner struck gold with her. No one else could have carried this story through 7 seasons with such consistency and charisma. To understand Regina, you have to go back to her origin story. And no, it's not just she was born bad. Regina was born good. Gentle, loving. She had dreams of her own, a heart full of hope, and a deep desire to be seen for who she truly was. But then there was Cora, her manipulative mother who ripped away every ounce of freedom and autonomy. When Regina fell in love with Daniel, the stable boy, that love became her rebellion. And like most women under oppressive parents, it was punished. Cora murdered Daniel right in front of her daughter. That wasn't just a death. It was Regina's psychological fracture point. This trauma is crucial because it shows that Regina wasn't evil by choice. Rather, she was pushed, cornered, broken, and then she rebuilt herself into someone she thought couldn't be hurt again. Cora wasn't just a bad mom. She was a narcissistic architect of pain. Everything she did was calculated to maintain control. She used magic, manipulation, and maternal guilt like surgical tools to shape Regina into a ruler, not a daughter. Her philosophy? Love is weakness. That ideology is what poisoned Regina's worldview. Even years later, you can see Cora's fingerprints on Regina's decisions. Her need for power, her fear of vulnerability, her tendency to hurt before being hurt. What's so genius about this dynamic is that the show doesn't excuse Regina's actions, but it explains them. Lana plays every Cora scene with a blend of terror and longing. She wants her mother's love, even when she knows it's toxic. Cora is the villain behind the villain. Regina's darkest moments always have Cora's voice in the background. On the contrary, where Cora was ice, Henry Sr. was warm. He was the one person who loved Regina without expectations. And tragically, he was also the one person she sacrificed in her quest for revenge. His death isn't just devastating for the audience, it's devastating for Regina, because deep down she knows she crossed a line she can never uncross. She chose power over love. Throughout the series, Regina is haunted by this choice. She references her father in quiet moments and tearful memories. His loss lingers, not because he was loud, but because he was her last tether to innocence. This moment cements the tragedy of Regina's character, that her worst choices are often the ones she regrets the most. If Cora represents Regina's past, then Henry represents her future. Her adopted son is more than just her child. He's the mirror she holds up to herself. In season 1, Regina treats Henry with a blend of possessiveness and fear. She loves him, but she doesn't know how. She wants to protect him, but doesn't understand that love requires letting go. And here's where Lana shines again. She doesn't make Regina's motherhood sentimental or perfect. It's messy, is scared, is earned. Regina stumbles, makes mistakes, but always circles back to Henry. Over time, Henry becomes the reason she chooses growth, not just for him, but because she believes she can. That belief, especially when no one else sees it, is the catalyst for her redemption arc. And speaking of the love in her life, Daniel was Regina's first love. The one that was ripped from her, the one she could never let go of. That's why his memory looms so large in her early seasons. He's her what-if emotional ghost. But Robin Hood, he's her second chance. Their relationship starts tentatively. Regina doesn't trust it, and why would she? She lost so much. But Robin sees her, not the evil queen, not the mayor, her. And he treats her with patience, honor, and respect. Their love story isn't a fairy tale. It's realistic. There are complications, there are setbacks. Whenever he's taken away from her, it's a gut punch, not just because of his loss, but because Regina loses hope again. Still, the fact that she can love again after all that pain shows how far she's come. Robin Hood is the symbol that she's still capable of giving and receiving love. Now let's talk about the backbone of Regina's villain story. Her hatred for Snow White, or as we come to know her in Storybook, Mary Margaret. At first glance, it seems simple. Snow betrayed Regina by revealing her love for Daniel to Cora, leading to his death. But what really hurt Regina wasn't the betrayal. It was that it came from someone she trusted, a child she protected, a girl who once loved her. That's what makes their dynamic so rich. It's personal. It's not about kingdoms or crowns. It's about grief that calcified into vengeance. In Storybook, the dynamic flips. Mary Margaret is kind, meek, and confused. Regina is powerful, bitter, and cold. And yet, there's always a strange gravitational pull between them. They're mirrors of each other. Both mothers, both idealists, both betrayed in different ways. Over time, their animosity gives way to something else, understanding. They're not friends exactly, but they share history, and that history forces them to grow. Their eventual truth isn't abrupt, it's earned. Because forgiveness for Regina isn't a moment, it's a lifestyle. She chooses it every day. In one of the boldest moves the show makes, they literally split Regina into two people, Regina and the evil queen. This isn't just a plot twist, it's therapy. It's a metaphor made real. All the guilt, rage, and darkness she carried is now walking around with its own corset and eyeliner. And now she has to confront it. The evil queen isn't just a villain, she's a reflection of everything Regina used to be. Everything she could be again, and that's the point. You can't defeat your past by pretending it didn't happen. You have to face it, forgive it, and integrate it. And when Regina finally embraces her dark self with love, not violence, it's one of the most psychologically powerful moments in the series. It says, I see you, I know why you hurt, and I am not ashamed of you anymore. Now let's talk about why this arc works. Redemption stories fail when they feel too fast, too forced, or too fake. Regina's story avoids all three. Her journey spans 7 seasons. She doesn't change because someone tells her to. She changes because she chooses to. Again and again and again. Her progress is non-linear. She backslides, she makes bad choices, she lashes out, but she also apologizes. She listens, she tries. That's what makes it feel human. Regina's growth isn't magic, it's work. And that work is what turns her from a tyrant to a leader. From someone who cursed a town to someone who ends up co-leading it. A huge reason why this arc succeeds is the writing. The showrunners, especially Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz, clearly had affection for Regina. They gave her the best lines, the deepest conflicts, and the most nuanced dilemmas. Well, outside of Rumple, but that's for another video. Unlike many shows that flatten female villains, Once Upon a Time invests in her psychology. They show her motives, her trauma, her victories, her pain. They let her exist in contradictions. And importantly, they give her time. Regina doesn't suddenly wake up good, she unpacks herself, episode by episode, heart by heart. It's character writing at its best, and it wouldn't work without a powerhouse like Lana Parrilla bringing it to life. Now let's talk comparisons. Specifically Gal Gadot's Evil Queen and Disney's live action Snow White. Now I have not seen the movie, but knowing Gal's work, I can pretty much come up with my own conclusion as to how this went. But don't get me wrong, Gal Gadot is stunning. She looks like a queen. She has presence. But here's the thing, she's playing a one-dimensional villain, a caricature of evil with no nuance, no backstory, no moral complexity. It's glamour over grit. How do I know this? That's how she plays every character. Meanwhile, Lana Parrilla's Evil Queen is a character study. She's terrifying and tragic. She's not evil for the sake of plot. She's evil because she's hurt. And over time, she lets herself heal. So while Gal may bring style, Lana brings substance. One is costume, the other is character. Regina Mills is more than a villain. She's more than a queen. She's a journey. She's what happens when you give a woman space to grieve, grow, and redeem herself. She's proof that most broken people can become the most inspiring. That redemption isn't a destination, it's a daily decision. Lana Parrilla gave us a masterclass in storytelling, and whether you remember her for her killer wardrobe, her biting sarcasm, or her soft moments with Henry, one thing's for sure. Regina Mills earned her happy ending, and she remains one of the most compelling characters television has ever given us. Are you a fan of Once Upon a Time? Did you watch the show while it was airing? What do you think about Regina Mills? And do you want more videos on Once Upon a Time? Let me know down below. With all of that being said, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to click like and hop on over to that subscribe button and hit the bell. Otherwise, YouTube will never show you my videos. As always, I'm all ears. Until next time, bye!